is a lot more emotional than I expected, but when Lori gave her statement, it was just infuriating.
Yeah, we're done. Lori, we are done with Lori. She is no more to us.
It's time to heal. It's time to get past this.
On May 12th, the jury returned the
Lori Vallow Daybell will spend the rest of her life in prison. Minutes after a judge gave her 5 consecutive life sentences inside the Fremont County Courthouse, family members of the victims reacted outside the courthouse. In May, a jury convicted Vallow of killing and conspiring to kill 2 of her kids, JJ and Tylee. And they also found her guilty of conspiring to murder her now husband's late wife, Tammy Daybell. And there were, of course, the 3 counts of grand theft added on to that. Morgan Romero watched the entire sentencing hearing this morning. So, Morgan, the question is, you heard some of the emotional level there. What stood out to you watching that this morning?
You talk about the emotion. It was exactly that, just a level of anguish and sorrow from everyone who spoke today, Brian, including the lead prosecutor in the case from Fremont County, as well as the judge. We heard a lengthy statement from him as well. But Lori Vallow actually shared a statement, and this was the first time we heard more than a couple words from her in a context that wasn't evidence in the case or a Dateline episode or maybe a documentary on Netflix. So, you know, the words that she said were that Jesus knows the truth about what happened. He understands her. Rather than show remorse or grief or admit to the murders, Lori talked about her, quote, communications with Jesus. Lori told the judge angels visited her, and because of that, she knows her children, who she's accused of murdering, are happy and busy in heaven. Lori also said she talks to her husband's late wife, Tammy, a, quote, wonderful and eternal friend who she conspired to kill. And Tammy is also very happy and busy.
One of the times that Tylee came to me as a spirit after she died, she commanded me, and she said to me, stop worrying, Mom. We are fine. She knows how I worry and how I miss her. The first time JJ visited me after he passed away, he put his arm around me and he said to me, you didn't do anything wrong, Mom. I love you, and I know you loved me every minute of my life. JJ, Joshua Jackson, was an adult spirit, and he was very, very tall when he put his arm around me. He is busy, he is engaged, he has jobs that he does there, and he is happy where he is. His life was short, but JJ's life was meaningful. JJ was a wonderful person and touched the lives of everyone, and I adored him every minute of his life.
4 years of heartbreak and anger culminated today with the focus on the victims and how they lived rather than how they died. Judge Stephen Boyce heard 5 victim impact statements from victims' family members before handing down those 5 consecutive life sentences for murder and conspiracy to commit murder without the possibility of parole. Tammy's sister, Samantha William, first shared a letter from their father, then her own statement. Tammy's aunt, Vicki Hoban, this is her here outside the courthouse later, was also able to share how this whole situation impacted her and her family. They talked about Tammy's story, how special she was, how much they loved and cherished her. Lori's only living child, Colby Ryan, was not at the courthouse today. Instead, he asked prosecutor Rob Wood to read his letter. Kay Woodcock, who you see here, JJ's grandma, shared a gut-wrenching victim impact statement with the court. Our Alexandra Duggan was inside the courtroom and said there was not a dry eye there. She talked about the adversity that JJ overcame during his life. He was born premature and then struggled with special needs all throughout his life. She called Lori a, quote, money-hungry, power-hungry monster. That word monster repeated multiple times today. And she said she and her husband Larry felt powerless before and after JJ's death, but today, Kay said she took her power back. Judge Boyce told Lori the most unimaginable type of murder is when a mother murders her own children, and that's what Lori did here. He agreed with the state's theory that she wanted to remove her kids and Tammy as obstacles and to profit financially from their deaths. But he did acknowledge Lori was recently diagnosed with complex mental illness. We heard today delusional disorder mixed with hyper-religiosity and personality disorder with narcissistic features. All those statements read today, along with the the pre-sentence investigation and aggravating factors that made her crimes so severe, Brian, led Judge Boyce to give her the maximum sentence allowed under Idaho law because the death penalty in this case was no longer on the table.
And I know we heard Larry Woodcock say it's time to look past it, it's time to heal, but there's still another trial coming up that involves with this and the possibility of her going to Arizona.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She's also charged with murder and the death of her, involved in the murder of the death of her husband, Charles Vallow, and then her co-defendant, Chad Daybell, who's also on trial next year in Ada County. So we'll see what happens there.
So it's not quite time to get past this, but this is a major step.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.